Hey, welcome back. History of Design. Hope everybody's doing good. What are we, session 8? Just about halfway through. When this session's done, we're halfway through, and then it's 9 through 16. So it is the mid-semester week. Hope everybody's doing good. As I've mentioned last week on Thursday, I believe I mentioned it on Tuesday. This week today is live recorded. Thursday is going to be pre-recorded and set up early. We are going to cruise through. This college is closed. Oh geez, the college is closed yesterday, and then we're open today, and then the college is closed on Wednesday, and then it's open on Thursday, but there's no classes. But I'm holding my classes because remember way back when, around week 4, we had a week off. We're gonna make up for that now. So I wanted to keep our schedule Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Thursday throughout the whole semester, and that's the way I could do it. I like the consistency that you always know. I have Tuesday's assignments, Thursday's assignments, and nothing changes. I didn't want to have to start doing. I tried it and I bumped things one semester, like Thursday's now Tuesday, and it just didn't work out real well. So we're going to keep it as is. So I just want to reiterate that session 8, there is Tuesdays and Thursdays assignments. I'm recording this right now. Today I'm going to do the lecture on the modern movement, and I'm going to do one of the assignments with you, and then work on some other things. And then Thursday we will catch up. So just to reiterate, the school is closed on Wednesday. Thursdays, there's no classes, but I'm still going to record a class for Thursday. We are going to truck through just like we normally did because of that week that we had off in around week 4, whereas like there's no assignments this week. We're making up for that now. So hope everybody understands that. Hope everybody's doing good. Let's check out. Always do your attendance by Thursday. We start our attempt. We hit continue. And what is contrast used for? Well, wow. Increasing saturation, balancing colors and hues. Let's see, increasing. That's what I'm going to say. It could be used for this. It doesn't reduce the image size and it doesn't balance colors. So it should increase the saturation when you use contrast. So there we go. Answer that one, answer the rest of them. See how you do on those. For the attendance, make sure you're marking your attendance. Everybody seems to do that in this class. It is no problem. We are talking about the modern movement in America this week. I am going to work on the modern movement in America design this week. I have all my information gathered, so I'll knock that one out with you today. And then I'll try to do this one for the Thursday's lecture. Though for Thursday's lecture, I just have to tell you, I'm a little bit behind on my Thursday's assignments. I have to do project B part 1 and 2 still. So I want to get that up to date just so you can see how I work on it, how I'm doing it as well, to give you tricks and tips, but can't always keep up because I'm the instructor and I have the other stuff to do as well. I wish I could. I wish I could just take the class only and not have to do anything else. Just kidding. I love it. Love it. All right. Let's check out modern movement in America. We're going to open up this and we are going to talk about some things here. Won't be long. Modern movement in America, from theory to practice. So we have that movement. We talked about people at the end of the last chapter. We talked about people moving to America, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more in number 2 here. And it is as we were starting to learn about the design that was being done in Europe. Europe was in turmoil, as they call it, and I'm going to kind of blend 1 and 2 together. And so a lot of the design stuff that they were doing tended to be more political at the time. Since we weren't necessarily in that full turmoil that they were going through because we're separated by oceans, we started to use the modern look for products and selling and information rather than maybe necessarily more political ideas. though the person, Lester Beale, did some stuff for the Rural Electrification Administration and some other stuff to help with America, but it wasn't necessarily political. It was just expanding what we can do in America, and some of it did become political, but not a lot. As fascism rose in Europe, many of the world's best designers like Herbert Bayer and Moholy-Nagy came to America. They brought their ideas about grids, sans serif type, and photography to U.S. advertising agencies. So like now we have that turnover, and this was the big turnover, that Europe was the hub of graphic design since the beginning of time. Let's just say since the beginning of graphic design, sort of. It was all Europe. You know, they had the printing press and this and that and the other stuff. And America did what America did. You know, we were kind of separated. We're a developing country, and all that stuff was happening. So Europe was, you know, established hundreds, you know, centuries, years old. And so they were the graphic design leaders. But when this happened, when World War I and the Nazis and the people were expelled from their country or fled from their countries, they came to America. We welcomed them with open arms in both arts and sciences, and we accepted them, and they came in, and we were like, yeah, do what you want to do. Show us your way. And they did, and we accepted it, and we started using it, and that's how we became a graphic design powerhouse in the end. Everybody came from Europe, came to here, came to America, started teaching, started getting hired in all these agencies, and everything changed for the good. Like in America, like we became the new graphic design powerhouse. Lester Beale is one of the first to move that modern art into for the common man, not being shy of like what we used to do, which I think was, it's hard to show like what we used to do. We're talking about this piece right here, the running water, is like, it's modernistic and simplistic. It's not like, I don't want to say like, it's not speaking to the old way where it was just information on a page, like here it is. But here we have like a stunning graphic design piece where like there's kind of like a horizon, the water's below, the water's coming in, and a big faucet. It's like easy to read, easy to understand, looks great, everything, you know, looks great. And it's very modern comparatively to what we were doing. And think about like the wood type posters. Those wood type posters was all text, you know, big blocks of text and a lot of information. Here we're like, okay, simplify it. What do we need? We need to tell people running water comes from the Rural Electrification Administration. Great, we got that point across. Like, why should we do this? This is why we should do it. So you have running water in your home. So he was the pioneer. That's who I'm going to do my design on today. Alexei Brodovich and Harper's Bazaar. Harper's Bazaar, of course, a magazine. Alexei Brodovich is an art director, and he revolutionized magazine design. Instead of a magazine just being straight up pages, think of a newspaper. If you know what a newspaper looks like. God, I'm sorry I have to say that these days. Columns of text, images in the same columns, very organized, very, you know, plain. We have an article, it may start with an image, then we have columns of text, then you flip the page and there may be another image. But Alexei was like, I'm going to turn the pages and I'm going to do them creative. I'm going to start telling stories. He viewed the page as a musical composition. So just playing around, starting to make the magazine far more entertaining to look at. Less like stale, less just ordinary, far more entertaining, cool, like bringing in like, what is the article about? Maybe the design should represent what the article's about. Back when I was younger, there was a magazine, it's called Wired Magazine. Wired Magazine in the early 2000s, very early 2000s. I'm trying to think of when I was getting it. Maybe very late 90s, early 2000s. I got it for a long time. And I got it, one, I did enjoy the articles, but two, the design of Wired magazine was so great. And so I got it as a graphic designer to look at the design. And so that's what Alexi did for that. Of course, America, though we weren't in, we were in the war, but not, I want to say not directly. It directly affected us a lot, but it wasn't on our soil, on our grounds. But the other thing that happened is the Great Depression. And we created the New Deal. And they hired thousands of artists to design posters for parks, health, and education. And this is where that switchover came. It's like, all these people had all this freedom sort of to create whatever they wanted for the federal government. The federal government, we need a poster doing this. They're not going to have art directors necessarily saying, don't do something. It needs to look like this. So they started to directly take their design cues from what was popular at the time, this modern movement that was coming across. And so the WPA had a lot of like really cool stuff during that time, during the hiring of all those designers. In murals, you'll read about and hear about murals during the WPA and all the design stuff. It was a little bit of an explosion because the government was just paying people to stay busy and working. And so a lot of design came out. It was done. It's a beautiful thing. Like a lot of great stuff came out of that. Paul Rand, the king of symbols. Look at this. Look at Paul Rand. UPS, ABC, IBM, all those still have it. He did Enron. You guys remember Enron? Does IDEO. He changed Westinghouse. I believe he did Girl Scouts, Ford, a bunch of others, like hundreds of others that are still in play today. Paul Rand. And I like this. He believed that a designer's job was to take a complex message and reduce it to a powerful symbol. He showed that design could be both professional and playful. So when we look at logo designs and we look at like what we're doing, and this kind of translates into anybody's in my brand class, like big, bold, beautiful designs, like take out all the riffraff, take out all that other crap that we don't need, and just bring it down to just the essentials. Our modern guy for this is Aaron Draplin. If you've heard about him, I believe I did a little, that's the other course. I did a little design about Aaron Draplin. He is the modern Paul Rand. Basically is almost verbatim, big, full, fat, bold, but like with a little 70s twinge in there. But Paul Rand, great designer, great stuff. Also, thoughts on design. In his 1947 book, Paul argued that layout should have visual logic. He believed that every element on the page, shape, color, and type should have a functional reason for being there, not just decoration. And I highly believe in that as well. Like why, that's why I question, why did you do what you did? If you look at when I type back to you in all the discussions, is like, we always like, there's some major things that I want to say, like introductory designers always add in that I'm always saying to take out. And that's stuff like drop shadows. Why did you add a drop shadow? What was the reason for it? It should have a functional reason. Oh, I wanted it because I felt it made the type read better. Well, what's something else we can do to make the type read better to bring down and not just add stuff? There's something we can change. We don't have to always add something to make something better. We can actually eliminate stuff to make something better. So for this one, like drop shadows, which is a big thing of mine. Outlining type. Why are you outlining type? To make it read better. Well, it actually makes it read worse. Let's pare it back. Well, maybe the type is on the wrong surface to read better if you need to add stuff to it. Then you remove the stuff from the background. So instead of adding, we remove. And that's a great way to look at design. So that's the visual logic. Why am I adding what I'm adding? Would be better if I didn't add anything at all. Or not saying don't add anything at all, but what can I change in order to make said item look better? But generally it is like, what can I change? I don't want to always add stuff. So that's the functional reasoning is a great idea behind that. And it's just not decoration or at the beginning stages of the design. That's why we're here. You know, all the instructors are here is to be like, no, it looks like more like a decoration than something that needs to be there as part of the design. Though I'm going to do it. Like I was already thinking about my design. Ladovich Suttner and information design. This is becoming bigger. We've learned about infographics already. We had it come across in the early ages, but now we're talking about it in a way that we want to explain more to the general public. And how do we start to have people understand complex thoughts, and how do we break that down? And it's just a different way of setting up the information. Sorry, they turned on a machine outside. I was like, what is that? So here, you know, how do we break down information in a new way, in a new visual logic that makes it easy? We follow along, like here's part one, and then there's the paragraph about it, and then one is boom, boom, like just a beautiful read across, and then the little brackets go to more information, and then the final conclusion. And it's probably folded down the middle here is like, you know, when you open the catalog or you open that page, and it's just great information design. I love information design. Well, this is what I do 90%. And I make these documents here. I'm very thoughtful on the information design. These actually pertain, like Paul Rand is one. This is here, this, like I know like how I follow it. It's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I look here, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they all pertain. And that's why I didn't number the images. I just kind of assume, like, if you look, you go across and you start to follow down and across. Reread from left to right, top to bottom. So I really do love information design. I think it's so great and so much fun to do because you can really help people get the information they need. Container Corporation of America. This was a powerhouse in graphic design. Not as a graphic design company, but as a company that championed graphic design. And they would put out catalogs and they would hire the best of the best. The Container Corporation of America, they made cardboard boxes. But because the CEO was like way in the design and art, he hired the best of the best. And he had them do like the covers of the catalogs, the covers for things like, and so they became really well known as this like cardboard box maker that had like the best catalogs, that had like the most modern, influential design stuff. Think of it way back when Apple was just getting started. Apple really looked to design, and they weren't necessarily looking at like, we're just gonna, you know, like back in the day, it was beige boxes. All computers are black now, but they used to be white beige. I don't know why. That was just the color. But Apple was like, no, we're going to do something different. Our form factor is going to be different. It's still a white beige box where we're going to include the screen and this part of the computer. Like, did all these things different. And it was amazing because they looked to design as part of their computer company. The Container Corporation of America looked as design as a great way to show what they do, but get to, you know, and to showcase the designers that then use their stuff, their cardboard boxes, design the boxes and stuff like that. So very, very popular. You'll see a lot of stuff from CCA. And then finally, the birth of the graphic designer. This is where it became, you know, we bounce around. labels bounce around. I believe at MATC, I am labeled in the Com Arts, which is Commercial Arts Department, though we call it graphic design. There are names come and go, but it's really graphic design has stuck around probably the longest. Layout men, commercial artists, all that kind of stuff. So birth of the graphic designer, you're good, is where all that kind of came from. So now it is. Now you are. Now we call it graphic design. There's always talks every 5 years. Should we change it from graphic designer to commercial art or visual artist or blah, blah, blah? And it's just like, no, graphic design is just kind of like tried and true. Somebody's going to come up with something, but this is now it. You are the graphic designer, a respected professional title for someone who solved business problems through visual strategy. What a great way to play that off, eh? All right, so that's the modern movement in America. As we know, we got to do our title. I won't do the title this week. The title is set up in Illustrator. All the information is here, and then make sure you kind of follow the A, B, C, and D. It's just to challenge you. Why do I do it? It's a challenge. If you can do anything you want, people just sometimes they just do everything they want, and sometimes the challenge is having to work with less to create more. Very Paul Rand, hey? Very, very Paul Rand. So you do that. I'll get one done and get it to, if you can get it to somewhat match up with the modern movement design, that would be even better. Of course, the book is here. I only take 10 points to talk about in order to not make your brains melt. But I want you to go through. I love this piece of like these old-timey ones. If you reference it, where is it in the writings? Well, demonstrate American graphic design during the 19th century was dominated by traditional illustration. So like, see, you know, like it's almost like a humanistic person and then some text put on. And then here we go to like this weird like design, like giant just type. Igor Stravinsky, or this piece, you know, like a total change in what happened. We talked about George in the past. Some people did some George projects. Alexei Brodovich. Yeah, this is that the covers of the Harper's Bazaar, and these were done with Herbert Matter. I was like, Herbert Matter did a lot of these and like worked with a lot of these. I love this one, like the stripe, but they put it on a pure white background, and so the stripes just disappeared. Such a great job. Dig through here, read some things. WPA stuff, helping the government. Oh, and then we get to the Knoll Corporation. These are great designs, beautiful stuff. From Herbert Matter. We have our information design section as well. I said Herbert Matter. I meant Herbert Bayer. No, Matter. Bayer. I'm getting this too. These are Matter. These are Bayer. My apologies on that one. So take a look through, find out what you might like to design. And I'm going to design one for us so we can see some tricks, tips, and some other things that happen when we design, and maybe better ways to think about a design. I'm going to go to new file. I'm going to create a print document that is 7 by 5. I want 1 page, not 2. I'm creating this in InDesign, no facing pages. I got 0.25 for margin, 0.25 for bleed. I'm going to hit create. I'm going to pull a guide and split it for 3.5 and 2.5, just so I know where the middle is. And I'm going to create a layer that says title. I'm going to create a layer that says images. I'm going to create a layer that says paragraph. And I'm going to create a layer that says background. I'm going to move background all the way to the bottom. I'm going to move title all the way to the top. Actually, I'm going to put I keep it like that. I'm going to lock everything except for images right now. And I have collected some images. And I'm going to go back out and I'm going to go to chapter designs and I want 8. Oh, come on. Don't tell me. This isn't updated. There we go. I got a photo of him. I'm gonna hold down shift. I'm gonna get all of them. I'm gonna bring them all in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gonna grab all those from the corner. My quick way to do stuff is just hit 25. This works because I have it registered that these corners will all stay together. One of these out of the bunch is already very small, and so I'm gonna do another 25 on these. And that just allows me to look at things and be like, okay, let's look at, I got this cool picture and I got to get all these. We got all these poses and look what I did. You guys see what I did? They're all the same color pattern. So I'm going to move that one here, move this one here now. I'm going to get to my free transform and I'm going to start holding down shift and getting these approximately the right size. Move that over, shift. And I'm not going to keep these right. I'm not going to keep these at this size, but I went with the biggest one. I got to still trim them, clean them, but it won't take long. And then with this one, I'm just going to move that over there. And that just gives me a starting point. Now I love this picture here. So the title is going to be fairly easy. And I know my font. I'm going to use Rockwell because it's not using these, but it's used in some. It's like more like this radio font. So I'm going to go over to my Lester Beal, and I'm going to hit title, and I'm going to grab my title, and I'm going to pull it my text box. Oh, come on. I have to reinstall this program. There's something up with my. There we go. See how that does that? There's a error in my, and there's another glitch in my system, and it's only here at school, which is weird, and I hate it. It's only on this one computer. I checked at home. So for this, I'm going to go back to properties. I'm going to type in Rockwell. And standard bold condensed. Let's do that. And I can make it, I'm going to make it the entire size. And maybe let's see what I have for room here. I'm going to hit a shift on a return on that. I'm going to tighten up the leg. And I'm going to double up on like this, then this. This. Oh, I can't go any bigger. Okay. I'm going to stop it there. Then I'm going to do this. I want it right to the that. And then I think I'm gonna center it. And then for that, I can go right here. Sometimes it drops it a little low, but that may work. Oh, and then maybe now I just thought of my first thing. I'm gonna go to the background and let's do this. For this, I don't want any. For the fill, I want blue. It does this too. And then I'm going to take my text. Make sure that's on. Select this. And no, I'm not going to go red. I'm going to go white. And I'm going to think a little bit more. And I think I'm going to pull this background. Oh, just thought of something cool. All right, I'm going to pull this over here. And it, you can bleed off the page. Look, I'm going past. I'm going to the bleed marks. You got to remember that. And then, right here, this is going to be red. Comes in red. You see his image, ends in blue, and there's the title. I've got my 5 images, which I'm going to reduce the size of now. I don't know if I want to go like this. Like it's like so simple and so, but okay, I'm gonna double my paragraphs then. So I'm gonna split and I want an equal amount in here. So this is a 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna pull 2 guides off the middle. That is an 1/8, which what that does is leaves me with the same amount of space that's on the sides. So then when I bring in my paragraph, and I have an idea for the bottom, I can copy my information. Paste that in. Oh, why did that do that? Oh, it's that stupid. All right. And then I need to make another box. All right. Now these are the exact same size. I'm going to reduce and change. I want it to be Rockwell. And then I want it to be regular condensed. Let's see how that reads. Yeah, that reminds me of this radio. That's why I'm doing it. I got to reduce it a lot. I'm going to bring this in. And then I have to look through and put in my paragraphs, which I can increase this. And then some bullet points. So I'm going to zoom in. Oh, do you see what I just did there? Oh, data. All right, so this is a return right here, and I want a full return. So I have it set that it's going to put a gap for my returns. And then I'm going to find the word understand. And I'm going to hit a return. I'm going to hit return. And now from this point on, I want it to be smaller. And then it was corporate identity. Return visual language. Legacy. return. And then return. I'm going to select all. I'm going to go to 8.5. Oh, look at that. That was a lucky shot. All right. Now I'm going to go look at my edge. Looks good. Looks good. I've got no widows. I'm going to change this to bold condensed. I'm going to change this. I see a widow to bold condensed. I'm going to hit a soft return here, which is shift return, and that way it doesn't add in the extra jump down. Let's do this. Bold condensed. Now looking at this, I don't like this and just sitting alone. It just looks like crud. So I'm going to hit shift return. I'm going to try not to get that and I don't like this here. Now back out. And then for the background, what I'm thinking of is I'm going to take this. Oops, I want both. Move it here. And then I'm going to grab this, and pull it down all the way up, all the way past the bleed. Oh, I'm going to reverse it. I think, should I reverse it? No, I think that looks good. I like that. Checking, checking the stuff around. So I'm going to go back in now with the images. And I'm going to get this one to the edge because it's got stuff like a picture of the book. This one has a beautiful border on it. That one doesn't matter. So I can take this to the corner, go to the free transform, and all I'm doing is making sure that they're the right height. Scroll down, looks good, looks good. Now I'll keep that border. Now I go out. Now I select all my images and I go to evenly distribute them at the bottom. I'm going to move up my type. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take my type, select all, and I'm going to do the blue. There we go. Or should I do that blue and this red? Oops. Let's flip flop. Let's do that flip flop. Fill red. There we go. File, and I'm going to save as, and then remember to upload your stuff. I'm going to save as, and I'm going to actually save it to the cloud into my files. 186 and chapters. Chapter 8, I gotta rename all these. SP26. Save. And then I'm gonna do the 2 exports, file, export. And if I have PDF, I hit save, and I can just go to client, export. Look at that. and then I close that and I go to File, Export, and then I have to change it. Like, I got to make sure that name is right. Press, so it doesn't save over. And then I change this to Press, Export, and there I have with proper crop marks and bleeds. It's got double. Why is it doubling on me? That's all right. So there you go. Any questions, comments, or concerns? All right, Thursday, pre-recorded. It'll be up before 11. It should be up before 11. So just look for the video to show up. You don't need to log in. You just need to watch it. I will go over the 8-page brochure. Hopefully it is the transition into final. For the next week, we're transitioning to a final, like, tight sketch of how we want our design to be, to think of all the problems and things that we'll run into, and we're going to start our computer roughs. So that's where we're at. Take care. Have a good day. Just know that the school is closed tomorrow. Thursday, the school is open, but there's no classes scheduled, but except for Watch for Mine. All right. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.